Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show, where we get to the heart of why you overeat and how to stop. If you struggle with food and weight like I did, welcome home. Welcome, everybody, to the Heal Your Hunger Show. I'm so happy to have you here. It is a great day to be alive, and I have an awesome guest for you today. And before I introduce her to you, I want to just recommend you jump over to the Heal Your Hunger Tribe on Facebook. Just type in Heal Your Hunger Tribe, and let's join the conversation. I'm actually doing a masterclass that I'd love for you to tune into. You're going to love it. If you want help with cravings and sabotage and that kind of, I'm not going to say good stuff because it sucks. So, but if you want to check it out and get some help, definitely check out the Heal Your Hunger Tribe. And also, we have our 200th show coming up soon. So if you want to be a part of that, if you want to be a guest, make sure to send me a screenshot of your review on iTunes, as well as any testimonial that you have. It could be the slightest way that you've been helped by the Heal Your Hunger show, or it could be simply, something you read in the book, or something you took something you learned in my course. Any way that you've been touched by the Heal Your Hunger message, please shoot me a testimonial at Tricia@healyourhunger.com, and we'll enter you to be chosen to be a guest on the Heal Your Hunger show. So please definitely do that. Don't delay. This is coming up really fast. So this is a chance for you to take action, not think about it, but do it. And then you get to join us on the show. And it's just going to be fun. I'm not going to grill you about your eating habits. It's an opportunity to just have fun and celebrate the Heal Your Hunger show. So that beautiful voice and laughter you hear is my dear, dear friend, Debra Atkinson, who is the queen of Fitness Over 50, and her podcast is called Flippin 50, and she is buff and she's beautiful, and she is she has a heart of gold, and she helps women like me, who, yes, I'm over 50. She helps us get in shape without harsh experiences with, the gym, or harsh, messages or anything. It's very gentle, very easy in terms of, just easing into it, because I am not a gym rat by any stretch of the imagination. I've really not even darkened the doors of a gym my entire life. So it's just, I love her and her message and what she does for women over 50. So Debra, so happy to have you here.
Well, thanks for having me. And I have no doubt you have tons of raving fans. I can't imagine that the testimonials are not pouring in about what you do.
That's right. It's just getting people to write them and send them. So let's hope they're doing that right now. So, so I've had you on the show before, and I adore you, as a good friend. And, but also I admire you so much, and your commitment to fitness and your commitment to helping women, get off the couch and start moving their muscles. And again, not in a Jillian Michaels kind of way, but really a gentle way where you understand, our bodies are a little bit older and we don't move like we used to move. And some of us have never moved. I literally didn't do any weightlifting until I almost got to 50. So, I just love the advice you've given me and the advice you give so many people. And like recently, AARP mentioned your podcast as one of the top podcasts, and for reading their readers. How awesome is that? Congratulations.
Thank you.
So there, the word's getting out that you are the go-to person for helping people, move their muscles. It's not even about getting fit. It's not even about weight loss. It's just literally using your body and making sure it's toned and strengthened so it can carry us through another 30, 40, 50 years.
Exactly. Having fun, right? I think finishing that sentence is doing all the things we love with the people we love to do them with, right? Yeah. No settling.
Yeah, so true. Because it's so hard to be debilitated by our bodies, and unfortunately as emotional eaters, we've beaten ourselves up a lot with emotional eating crappy foods and unhealthy foods and toxins and chemicals and additives, and just having that take its toll on our bodies and our abilities to move. So I just love that you help people in all shapes and sizes get moving.
Exactly. And the wonderful thing I think about the human body is how resilient it is. So, I think all people can look and say, I've probably done some of that too, on different levels. And and yet the body is amazing. And I think we can all look at, somebody who's got, an amputee, from the knee down, and they're out there doing amazing things. There are ways to adapt, not just that way, but you can regenerate muscle, bone. You can do a lot with healing what your nutrition you're putting in order to give yourself the fuel to regenerate and feel better, moving more comfortably at any age. It's an amazing time to be alive, really.
Yeah, so a lot of this, I'm sure, has to do with what's between our ears, right?
So much so. So much so. There's a huge study that I love to talk about. Ellen Langer did this years and years ago with hotel maids, and they looked at she and I'm gonna ditch her name. So Crum is her last name. It's Aaliyah. It's something. It's an A name.
I remember her. I watched her TED Talk.
Oh yeah. And it's the difference between believing that something you do is really good for you and just doing the thing that is really good for you. You reinforce that every time you take a bite of something is really healthy for you. If you're thinking this is really going to the good of my body, I can remember my grandmother, actually, that was a part of her prayer before every meal, right? To the good of my body, and I was like, wow, she was doing that her entire life, every single meal. That's what she said. And it's so reinforcing that when you go for a walk, when you go upstairs even, that you're telling yourself, even this is good. Just this movement is good.
Wow. So the thoughts we think as we're doing it are just as important, which means the opposite is true. If we're sitting there thinking, I hate this, I don't want to do this, why am I here? That's probably not helping.
You're exactly right. And the other side, when you guilt yourself, if you say, well, I haven't exercised today, look at what else you have done. If you've got a house and you go up and down the stairs to do laundry or just to commute from one level to the other, that counts. All of it counts. And so don't negate moving through life, because if we think back 50 and 100 years ago, that was what they did. They didn't have to go to the gym because they were simply active and busy. So if what's keeping you from doing more is that you have a busy and a full life, don't beat yourself up about that.
Totally. And I keep account. I don't have a Fitbit, but I do keep account on my iPhone. It's got that little heart thing that it measures your steps. I have my phone with me all the time anyway. So yeah. I do check it, throughout the day. I'm amazed at how just even walk around my house, because I'm always forgetting where I put things. So I'm always getting up and sitting back down. So I'm amazed at how many steps I actually do add, even unconsciously without intending to.
Exactly. I mean, and that's probably true of most of us. We get so much more than we think we do. Yeah. And it sneaks in that that non-exercise activity time all counts. And it's more associated with optimal weight and reducing risk of, comorbidities like high blood pressure, heart rate, disease than the gym time. So yeah. Even gym users, if they couch compensate, don't score as well on tests of your risk for disease. So it all counts, and really the things you do between the gym count as much or more. So it's just stay busy. Get a dog. Borrow the dog if you need to.
That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
But I try to do, my goal each day is 5,000 steps, which isn't a lot. I know most people, a lot of people, they have Fitbits, they're trying to do 10,000, but 10,000 is a lot to me time-wise when I'm working. And so I try to at least do 5,000, which is, for me, on, where I live, it's like 4 times around the block. And I do a little, people who know me know I do a walk pray. So I walk and I pray out loud. When I walk, I put my earbuds in, but it's really nice. And I like having 5,000 steps as a goal, because part of it is just moving around and getting out of the car and going to the store. And part of it's intentional and it's walking, but it's not a lot of walking. And I just find that that's a gentle, strenuous or rigorous or, pressure making goal.
Yeah. Yes. It's so wise. And I think it lets you be successful, right? Whereas you set the bar too high, so many of us will do that January 1st, is probably the biggest time of year we do. And by January 3rd, we're thinking, oh my gosh, what was I thinking, right? Or you failed. And, so two things about that: set it at a place where you can be successful and, be thinking that it's not all or nothing, that a failure is really data, right? It's feedback. What was it that I was trying to do that didn't work for me? And do you love walking, Tricia?
I love walking.
Look at your eyes light up. You see, that's the difference a lot of times. Yeah, and that's the difference between a lot of people who are successful and those people who fall off the bandwagon. Usually are reaching for what's the biggest calorie burner, what's the fastest way to burn fat, and then when they go, they're intimidated, they feel bad while they're doing it, they're sore after they're doing it. I mean, where is the fun in that, right? And so we tend to run to pleasure, right? And away from pain. So
no, it's so true, because especially emotional eaters, our association with exercise is so negative. It's all about making our bodies do what we think they should do or be the size we think they should be. And it's so much, it's a war, it's literally a war. And how fun is that? So, recently at like I think it's almost 5 years ago, I did find a form of exercise that I love, and it's the only thing I've actually enjoyed. Not that it's fun, that's a stretch because it's hard, but it's a bar class, and it's quick, it's toning all the muscles in my body within an hour with really cool music and really good people, like the person who leads the class sort of checks you in your form, so I don't feel like I'm out there doing the wrong thing that I might hurt myself. But it was something I came across that I really enjoyed. I think the community of being in class with other people, I thrive on community and being with other women, so I think that added to it. The cool music they're playing, like I got up to date on what's out there in music, and because I'm such a dork around that stuff. So it did, it was something I actually enjoyed. And your point is so well taken, is when you really can get aligned with something and feel like, wow, this is good. Again, not that it's easy, because sometimes I'm like, I cannot wait until this class is over. It's so hard. Right. But God, I feel so good afterwards, and I love that feeling.
And you've got that accountability. So, I mean, think about the things that you just said, just for everybody who's listening, the group, even though you obviously like doing it solo, and the quiet time and introspective exercise too, but you clearly want a little yin and yang, so you like the group, you like the music. Do you like the feeling of like dance? So bar is kind of based on a dancer's workout. It's got a theme to it. So those are, important factors. And someone else might look at that and say, never would I do that. But, decide, do you exercise better in a group or solo? Which would you rather do? Would you rather be indoors or outdoors? Would you rather have music or peace and quiet? And thinking about those things, and then looking at, within that, what could I do?
Yeah, it's so important to do something you feel good about. So important to have that positive association.
Yeah.
So in terms of the work you do, I know you personally coach people. Do you coach people in groups as well? Tell us a little bit about how you help people with exercise.
Do a little bit of both. So I do some one-on-one coaching for somebody who just wants to go all in. Sometimes that's about convenience. I just want to meet with you when it's convenient for me. I don't want to meet when the group meets. That goes for group fitness too sometimes, right? It's like, I don't want to be told I have to be there at this time. So, and it's also when somebody has a really special goal that, a group situation isn't really appropriate for everybody. Maybe it will be once they get a good, strong foundation and they know how to modify, and that could mean regression or progression, right? Making it more challenging for themselves or making it easier for themselves. And we all can probably do a body check right now and say, yep, my knees need a little exception to the rule, or, but I'm strong in my hips and my upper body. And so I can do a little harder than some people can. So knowing how to adjust when you go to a group is really useful. But a lot of people like that group environment and love it. So some people will do both. While they're working with me, we'll design workouts that encourage, here's what I want you to do. When you go to that group, here's what I'd like you how to modify in terms of the weight and the load and the sets or the speed and what we're going to do so that you going to that class now is safe. So we do both. We've got group programs, and what I've really gone to is a starting and stopping seems to be really important for most of us. I think we all love the idea of give me freedom. Don't put another calendar or a date on my calendar, but we do so well because we're conditioned like school. Here's when school starts. You have to study, and there's going to be, the end, and then the program is over. So we've really kind of turned a corner this last year and done 12-week programs. They start at this date. They're going to end here. Here's your assignment this week. And everybody's talking about how the workouts went, and they're able to talk to each other, not just to me. It's been really fun. And you probably see this too. Yeah. The value of being in a group and having peers be able to connect who are going through the same experience is priceless.
It is priceless. And it's like, it is so motivating and so comforting. And I think it has a lot to do with that. Not only the identification, wow, I'm not the only one going through this. I'm not the only one whose muscles are hurting right now. I'm not the only one hating Debra right now.
They hate Debra. They love Truman. That's why I have a dog.
Oh, that's what the dog comes in. Okay, well, lucky dog. So that's great, but it's like that heart connection, and that's what's so important for emotional eaters is that we've lived in isolation for so long, thinking we're the only ones who eat this way, or the only ones who. I always thought I was the only one who grabbed food out of the garbage and decided to eat it, and so realizing other people were that way made me feel so much less isolated. And that heart-to-heart connection, I know people in my programs, they're just like, wow, like here I am and I found my people, and it's chemical too. I mean, an oxytocin effect of being with other women and sort of gabbing about how you're feeling and what's going on, and it is so beautiful. And it really, I'm sure, just only augments the workout itself.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that. And I think one of the things at the end of programs or the end of a section or a session, a lot of women are like, well, what about this group? Is this group going to stay together? Are we going to let other people into the group?
Yeah.
I mean, because now we're family. Yeah.
That's sweet. Isn't that sweet? And that's the beautiful thing about the internet. I mean, God bless the internet. It helps us so much to stay connected.
Yeah, so true. And that I think women who are, your age, my age, flipping 50, we now are so much more collaborative than we were in our younger years. I think we do truly lift each other up. We get it. We know that somebody's might be going through it, but we can let them go through it. We can help them. We don't have to rob them or give them all of our stuff. Yeah. It's just a very cool place to be. Supportive, collaborative.
Yeah, I love it. And I love that you help people in both ways, and always. And I love that you help people with, if they're doing something locally, you can help them as well, to stay safe and really get the best workout in whatever they're doing, because their bodies and how they can best be supported. Like, that is amazing that you do that.
Yeah, it's super rewarding, and I think we let down our guard a little bit. We let people in when we finally feel vulnerable, whether maybe in your case it's disclosing, or it's, in my case, when people get physical and we aren't necessarily really comfortable with the body we have yet. We still feel like we're on the journey to get to her, and when you can relay that to someone else, you're much more likely to say, okay, now I can be more open and this is a safe spot. But we need that feeling of, a lot of people don't want to walk into a gym. It's very intimidating. Even if you are the CEO of your company, when you're feeling like a fish out of water, it doesn't matter, what else you do in the other 8 hours of your day. It's at that moment, we're all equally vulnerable.
Yeah, so, so true. Wow. Well, Debra, I love your work, and I love, how supportive you are of women, and really how supportive you are of health, So as we wrap up here, is there anything, kind of last words that you want to just share with people to give them encouragement and like get them off the couch?
Absolutely. I think the most important message from Flipping 50 is not about how much weight or how many repetitions or how many days a week you do anything, but it's, that piece coming to a whole so that you can change the way you age. We don't have to look at what our prior generations did, and you can dream it, vision it, and be setting new and exciting goals right now that maybe you haven't even considered. But when you're thinking about what you're going to do, a friend of mine used to say, it should make you smile like you ate a banana sideways. That should describe your activity, the way you choose it, the way you feel when you're moving, and the way it makes you feel after. That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah, and also I love that. I especially love the banana sideways. I've never heard that. That's a riot. But also the fact that, we really, we do connect so much with the things that we love to do, and it does make it so much easier. But I just want to say to people who are like, how could I ever love exercise? Mm-hmm. It is a progressive thing. So if you do, and you've probably experienced this before, mm-hmm. At first it's so hard, but if you take that one like baby step, and then you take another baby step, it starts to turn where it's not so miserable. And all of a sudden you get that little hit from it. Like, wow, I feel good. And then, mm-hmm. When you feel a little bit good, then you want to do a little bit more. And then you start to feel better. And then it like progressively, it increases, like the good feelings increase. And before you know it, it's not a painful, hard, miserable thing to do to get up off the couch and start moving your muscles.
So good. Great advice. In fact, that's very much the way I started long ago. I started walking with my mother. And, I bet the first time we walked around the block, and that was it. And pretty soon the next week we walked around 2 blocks, and little by little, it grew. And then it became maybe it was jogging, but it didn't happen overnight, and it was doable every single time. Yeah. So look for something you love and self-select. Don't let someone else choose your weight or your speed. When you self-select, you're going to be much more likely to do it.
Beautiful advice. Do you have anything you want to share with people? Any like giveaway or freebie? We didn't talk about that ahead of time.
Absolutely. So let's do this. Let's do the Hot Not Bothered book.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it is you can get the paperback if you, like me, like to fold back the corners and highlight and all that and hold it in your hand. I'll send you that if you'll chip in the shipping. And you can get a digital copy right to you right away if you just rather go that way. So flipping50.com/hot not bothered.
Awesome. That's so generous. Thank you so much. And then
you're welcome.
Put that also in the show notes if you guys want to go there for that, if you didn't get a chance to write that down. So Debra, I have one more question for you that I ask all my guests, and that is, what are you, being the Heal Your Hunger show, what are you really hungry for?
Peace is what came to my mind. So I just diarrheaed that out, okay?
No, it's very apropos for where you are right now in your life. I know you're in the middle of a move, so peace sounds absolutely perfect. Yeah, and I wish that for you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and don't forget to jump over to the Heal Your Hunger tribe, and also go to the show notes and pick up Debra's book, Hot Not Bothered. Such a great title, and I know there's some great information in there. So thanks, Debra. Great to have you. And thanks everybody for tuning in. I'll see you on the next show.
If you enjoyed this podcast and want to get free support, insider health info, exclusive invites to events, and more, visit healyourhunger.com.